You know, for the longest time, machine learning felt like this super exclusive club, kind of hidden behind a velvet rope. If you were a web developer fluent in JavaScript, you were basically on the outside looking in. The whole world of AI seemed so distant, so complex, and honestly, built for a totally different kind of programmer. But what if that velvet rope could be cut? What if the keys to the kingdom were handed directly to us, the web community? Well, that's exactly what happened, and in this explainer, we're going to dive into how it all went down. So let's just set the scene for a second. For years, machine learning was like this high-walled garden. And to even get a peek inside, you had to be fluent in languages like Python or C++. You needed really powerful, dedicated hardware, often with crazy expensive GPUs. And you needed the patience of a saint to get through all the complex setups and environments. It was really the realm of data scientists and researchers, a world away from front-end developers like us, who are busy crafting beautiful, interactive web experiences. And this quote from developer and educator Jeremy Ellis, it just hits the nail on the head. You had this incredible, world-changing technology popping up, but for this huge community of web developers, it felt completely out of reach. There was this real feeling of being locked out of the next big thing in tech. But then, something started to shift. The native language of the web, the one that's powering literally every browser on the planet, it started to play a totally new role. JavaScript, which was once kind of seen as just a simple scripting language for animations and forms, was about to become the key that unlocked that walled garden for a whole new generation of developers. What's so fascinating is that this wasn't a total shock to the web community. It actually felt more like the fulfillment of this long-standing prophecy called Atwood's Law. The idea is really simple. Any application that can be written in JavaScript will eventually be written in JavaScript. And bringing something as powerful as machine learning right into the browser, man, that felt like the ultimate proof that the law was real. And the key that finally turned the lock was TensorFlow.js. This incredible library brought the entire machine learning toolkit right onto the web developer's home turf. All of a sudden, the power to train and run these super sophisticated AI models was available using the language you already know, JavaScript, inside the environment you've already mastered, the web browser. The game had officially completely changed. Okay, so the gate is wide open, but where do you even start? The real beauty of this new world is just how approachable it is, and we're going to explore this through the lens of Jeremy Ellis's work, which is all about stripping away all that complexity and just getting your hands dirty with code right from the very first click. This is where the magic really happens for anyone trying to learn this stuff. Forget about complex installations or setting up environments or messing with build tools. The whole philosophy here is just pure, unadulterated JavaScript. You see the code, you can edit it live right there in your browser, and with a single click, you see your changes happen instantly. It removes all that old-school friction and lets you focus on the most important thing, learning and just playing around. So, where does a journey like this begin? Well, with the hello world of neural networks, the XOR problem. It's a classic logic problem that looks pretty simple on the surface. But here's the catch. You can't solve it with a simple, straight line. That makes it the perfect first challenge for a neural network, because it forces the network to learn a more complex, nonlinear solution. And this table illustrates it perfectly. The network needs to learn that the output is 1 only when the inputs are different. With TensorFlow.js, you can build and train a tiny model to solve this in just a handful of lines of code, right on a web page. It's the perfect proof that the core ideas of machine learning are now right at your fingertips. Okay, so our network can solve a basic logic problem. That's cool. But how do we level this up? Let's go from simple logic gates to a way more impressive challenge, teaching a machine to actually see. Image recognition can feel like straight-up magic, but as we're about to see, if you approach it the right way, you can pull back the curtain and really understand what's going on. You can totally demystify this whole process. Instead of overwhelming a model with millions of colors, we can start by just simplifying the problem. We can take an image and boil it down to its most basic form, black and white, which is really just a grid of ones and zeros. And that's the crucial insight. The neural network isn't seeing a picture like we do, it's learning to recognize numerical patterns in that grid. And suddenly, the whole thing becomes a lot less about magic and a lot more about math. Okay, but here's where things get really exciting, especially for developers who want to start building powerful apps right away. You don't have to teach the machine everything from scratch. You get to stand on the shoulders of giants. This is the ultimate shortcut to building incredible AI features. I mean, think about it. Companies like Google have already spent thousands of hours using these massive server farms and colossal datasets to train unbelievably sophisticated models. With TensorFlowJS, you can basically download the distilled brain from that whole process and plug it directly into your own applications, instantly. For instance, you could load up a model like SqueezeNet. This lets your web app tap right into the user's webcam and start identifying objects in the real world, in real time. I'm talking about pointing your camera at a TV remote, a coffee cup, or a keyboard, and having your app know what it is, all with just a few lines of JavaScript. Or you can take it even further with a model like PoseNet, which can detect human body poses in real time. In one amazing example, a developer used it to control a toy car just by raising his arms or leaning his body. Just imagine the possibilities. Your body becomes the controller. This opens up entirely new worlds for gaming, for accessibility, for interactive art, and it's all running in a simple web browser.
And it's not just about vision either. There are pre-trained models for speech recognition too. You can integrate a model that understands simple commands like up, down, left, and right, giving your website a voice-controlled interface. And here's the best part. Because it's all TensorFlowJS, you don't need to send any audio to some cloud service to be processed. It all happens privately and instantly, right there in the user's browser.
So after seeing all of this, the entire landscape just shifts. The question isn't, can we build with AI on the web anymore? Now it's, what will we build? The power has been put into our hands, and the question now comes right back to you, the developer. So let's just recap the big takeaways here. Machine learning is no longer locked away. It's now a standard tool in your JavaScript toolbox. It runs right in the browser, so there's no complicated setup. It's all just JavaScript. And there's this huge gallery of powerful, pre-trained models ready for you to use today. The barrier to entry hasn't just been lowered, it's been completely demolished.
And that brings us to the final and really the most important question. With these powerful new tools in your hands and the entire web as your canvas, the only real limit is your own imagination. So the question isn't for us to answer, it's for you. What will you create?